Housing and Dining. We are so excited to welcome you to campus this fall. My name is Virginia Ibrahim Olin. My pronouns of reference are she, her, and hers, and I am our Director of Housing Administration. This afternoon, we are going to run you through several things. We are going to talk about the specifics of online room selection. We will discuss how to pick your meal plan. We will address some items for you to pack. And then, as Bree has mentioned, we will run through some frequently asked questions. We do ask that you hold your questions until our frequently asked question time, because many of them we will be able to acknowledge throughout the presentation. Additionally, please note, if you have an individual concern, you are always welcome to email us at housing@uiowa.edu. Remember to include your name and your 8-digit university ID number. So let's begin. Actually, before we begin, a quick note to let you know, during this session, you will not be selecting your room and meal plan. We've had a few folks reach out during previous sessions like this, and this is just a walkthrough of how to do it, but you won't be selecting your individual meal plan at this time today. A couple of other pieces that I want to acknowledge what is really front and center on everyone's minds right now, and that is number one, COVID-19 and Black Lives Matter. And so to share with you a little bit about our fall planning related to COVID-19, number one, the critical incident management team here on campus, there are many planning teams throughout the university that are working on what our operational scenarios are and our guidance to reopen. They issued that guidance yesterday. We were all very excited to get the email, and we are thrilled that more information will be coming in the upcoming weeks. I just want to express our deep gratitude for all of you and our thanks for your patience and your understanding as we continue to navigate this evolving situation. Some details that we can talk about related to our fall planning is that first and foremost, we are open and we will be housing students in double occupancy rooms. Our team is very busy reconfiguring or closing some common spaces like lounges in support of social distancing. We will be limiting our visitors and guests to one at a time, and we will require all folks to wear face coverings. So get your Hawkeye themed face coverings ready. We will set aside some rooms for emergency use in the event of illness or there are other matters that pop up. And we are very strictly adhering to CDC guidelines related to cleaning. Within dining in our marketplaces, we have implemented a touchless payment system. We are discontinuing all self-service food and refillable containers. Our team is working hard to serve you all of the delicious things that you'll have to eat. We are adding and encouraging use of an online ordering system with some pickup locations so you can take your meals to go. We are moving tables and we're limiting seating to ensure 6 feet of separation between tables. We are also adding physical barriers to minimize any respiratory contact. So lots of plexiglass going up everywhere. And importantly, we are also adopting employee self-screening to ensure public health safety. Some additional steps that we are taking over the summer is that we are cleaning, we are sanitizing, we are coordinating with student health, and again, adhering to the guidance from the Iowa Department of Public Health and the Centers for Disease Control related to COVID-19. So another piece that I know is weighing very heavily on our minds these days has been the Black Lives Matter protests and racial crisis in the United States. Here at the University of Iowa, and very specifically within University Housing and Dining, it is our goal to provide an inclusive and welcoming community for all. We believe that it's everyone's responsibility to uphold this inclusive community. And so we believe that this is one in which the dignity of every human is recognized, valued, and heard. That all of our Hawkeyes can be successful and that they all have access to equitable resources and support. We want to make sure that people are safe to be themselves, to make mistakes, and most importantly, learn from each other. We recognize that each Hawkeye has a sense of belonging, and we want them to know that they matter through having their differences both recognized and celebrated. And we want people to be willing to recognize and address their behavior when it is harmful to the community. Our President Harold and Provost Fuentes reached out to the campus community via email and reinforced all of this by indicating, number one, that we will not tolerate anything but a safe and inclusive campus for people of all backgrounds. We will not tolerate hate on the basis of race, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, or country of origin. Simultaneously, we value the First Amendment and freedom of expression and believe that civil discourse and the respectful exchange of ideas are cornerstones of higher education and the great University of Iowa. So I wanted to make sure that you all knew that we were thinking very deeply and very intentionally about both COVID-19 and Black Lives Matter as we prepare for you to join us on campus this fall. I'd like to continue now and talk a little bit more about how we will make your room assignment, or more importantly, how you will make your own assignment. So students who have applied before May 1, 2020 will select a room online in July. Room selection time slots are going to be issued based on the order in which your housing application was received. And time slot emails will be sent out to you in late June, both to your personal and your @uiowa.edu accounts. We know that not everyone is checking their uiowa.edu email account just yet, but please start working on that habit right now. A special note that if you applied for housing after May 1, our staff will make your room assignment for you in late July. So to begin, you are going to log into the housing application. I'm sure you are quite familiar with My UI at this point, but one thing you might not remember is that there is a tile specifically for the housing application on there. Excuse me. I apologize. Secondly, what you'll do is you will log in by clicking Student Login at the top. You will then select Apply Here, and then pick your specific housing application term. This is important because if you happen to be one of the Hawkeyes that's living with us on campus this summer, or you have applied previously, make sure that you are selecting your fall 2020 housing application. Next, you will be taken directly to the room selection pages. The first thing that you will do is you'll select a building. You will see them all displayed on the screen if you have the ability to live in them. The portal is live and availability will change as room selection continues. So if there is not a space in that particular building you might be interested in living in, it will not show on the screen for you. Again, if you are joining a living learning community, you will only see the building associated with that learning community that you have joined. And then there are going to be some additional pages, options to update on the next page. So we select our building. And then what we're going to do is we are going to select our room. We can filter on this screen by the room type, the location, and the floor. If there are no rooms shown, then you might need to expand your search options. If you are accepted into a living learning community, you can filter by that floor, although it will appear because that's the only options that you'll be able to see. And if you're debating between a few rooms and wanted to learn more, what you can do is select that button in the middle of the screen that says Room Occupants and Floor Information. And what will pop up then is a screen that looks like this. You'll see a floor plan of the room. You'll be able to check out the community and then the occupant profile. So if you are picking a room just for yourself and not necessarily with any roommates in mind, this is the screen where you would learn a little bit more about potential roommates if someone else has already selected into that space. If the room is empty, it will appear the way that it is right now. And if you are the first person who picks into an empty room, this is the screen where your potential future roommates will look at your information to see if they believe that you two might be compatible. I think it is especially important to highlight that not all rooms are the same size and layout. These floor plans are strictly for an example, so don't try to measure for curtains or carpet just yet. We also provide curtains, so just a quick tip. But with that in mind, you also then will need to select Go Back on the screens. As you progress through the housing application, please do not use your browser window to click back, but use the one that says Go Back. So we've clicked Go Back and we're good with this room. So we are going to move forward. You will click Select Room, and you'll have 10 minutes to confirm your selection, pardon me. You can only have 2 rooms in your cart at the same time, and this is just for people who might be looking to house their roommate in an adjoining suite room. And the way that that works is you and your confirmed roommate, you'll add room A and room B to your cart, and then you'll click assign beds to continue. If you are just picking one room, same thing applies. You just click assign beds to continue once you have your room selected. Then what you will do is you will assign yourself a bed. This does not necessarily mean that you have committed to living on one side of the room or the other. It's just strictly for administrative purposes. You will assign yourself, and then you will assign any confirmed roommates that you might have. You will click assign beds when you are complete. Now, please note, for those people who are trying to pick a room on behalf of a roommate pair, after this point, you will not be able to change your room and have your assigned roommate move with you. So if you decide for one reason or another that you don't want this room, this is the point where you click go back and find a new one. All right. You'll be able to review your room selection. Your room is not official until you click book my room, but you'll be able to see that you have assigned yourself, you have assigned your requested roommate, and what the particular rate is of the room. Once you click book my room, then you will receive a room selection confirmation screen to again highlight this is the room you chose, the room type, the building, the floor, and what the rate is. After you have selected your room, all students are asked to learn a little bit about renter's insurance. Renter's insurance is highly recommended for all of our University of Iowa students, as we are not responsible for your personal property. If you have renter's insurance through your own private company, that is a-okay. We have a partnership with GradGuard. You can learn about it, and as you click through the screens, you will automatically be directed back to the housing portal. You are not required to purchase anything at this time, but again, it is there to remind you, hey, renter's insurance, I need to make sure I bring some of that to college. The final piece that you will do then is you will choose your meal plan. All new incoming students are required to have a gold or a black meal plan. If you happen to be a student with a university supplied kitchen, you can select the Hawkeye plan, and meal plan changes are permitted during the first 2 weeks of the term. My colleague Jill is going to talk with you about meal plans shortly, so I'll hold off on all those details until she pops on the screen. When you are done, then you will see this final confirmation page that says assignment summary. Our team will then be issuing you official notification of your housing contract to your @uiowa.email address. Room changes are permitted while the room selection portal is open. However, we want you to remember, if you are picking on behalf of your pair, once you have a room and you've reached this page, and if you try to change your room, you will not be able to change your roommate's assignment. So please proceed with caution. At this point, I'm going to have my colleague Jill talk with you all about meal plans.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jill Irvin. I'm the Director of Dining at the University of Iowa. My pronouns of reference are she, her, and hers. And we're very excited to have you join us this fall. The university dining staff is very hard at work making plans for welcoming all of you back to campus or to campus and being able to provide high-level quality food in a manner that's very safe. And so we're excited. We have lots and lots of conversations, and so I think we'll be ready when you get there, and we're excited to have that happen. So Virginia is running the slides, and so I'll have her move forward. Okay, as Virginia mentioned, if you are a student living in the residence halls, you are required to have a meal plan. The majority of you have 2 to select from, the gold meal plan and the black meal plan. Just to talk briefly about the characteristics of these plans, I always think of them as having different buckets of meal swipes. And the meal swipe is the currency that you're going to use as you make purchases, whether it's an entrance into an all-you-care-to-eat location or menu items that you'll select from a flex meal location. So the first bucket of swipes that you have are your marketplace meals. And these are meals that can only be used in one of our all-you-care-to-eat marketplaces. We have 3 of those on campus. So under the gold meal plan, this number is unlimited. Under the Black meal plan, you have 145 of these swipes. Now, these are semester-long plans, and so these are the number of meal swipes that you will have to use over the course of the entire fall semester. The next bucket of meals you have are flex meals, and regardless of what kind of meal plan you have, you get 75 of these. The flex meals are the most flexible swipes we have. Most people use them in our 7 flex meal locations. These are locations spread around campus in convenient locations. If you don't have the opportunity to get back to a marketplace for a meal, or you just want a little bit different kind of a look and feel to it, you can use these swipes in a flex meal location. The Hawkeye meal plan that you see here is available for those people who are living in a residence hall that has a university provided kitchen. So that ends up being Mayflower Hall. Those are the only people that have the opportunity to select a Hawkeye meal plan. And then with the gold plan and the black plan, you will also be given 8 guest meal swipes for each semester. These are swipes that you can use for your friends or for your family. Not a bad thing to get a few points with mom and dad if they come to campus and you take them out and treat them to a meal using your guest meal swipes. So we have 7 flex meal locations spread around campus. We have 2, Union Station and River Room, down at the Iowa Memorial Union. Clinton Street Market, Grand Avenue Market, and Mayflower Market are convenience stores that we run in each one of those residence halls. Food for Thought Cafe is our location in the main library, and Pat's Diner is at the Papa John Business Building. And so these are spread out in convenient locations. Like I said, you can use your flex swipes here and give you just a little bit different vibe sometimes. We always try and think about what can we offer a little bit different and a little bit new this year. And so, as Virginia had mentioned, one of the things that we're doing is an expansion of our online ordering program. We've had online ordering in our retail locations for a while now, but we are going to be expanding that into our 3 all-you-care-to-eat marketplaces. We will be using the Grubhub app for you to be able to do this. Many of you are probably familiar with Grubhub. It's widely used across the country, maybe internationally, I don't really know. But before you come to campus, you will need to have downloaded that Grubhub app. And we will be sending you information as we have all of this finalized, sending you information on how to do that. Once you have that app, then you're going to be able to go in to either our marketplaces or our retail locations and place your order, walk up at the time that's convenient for you, and select your menu items and then leave. Instead of coming into a marketplace and sitting down, or some of our retail locations have some seating available or not, but you can take these wherever is most convenient for you. And another change we've made real fast is flex meals. Many of our flex meal locations have flex meals available just Monday through Friday, and we've been trying for a while to expand those so that we have more options available on the weekend. So we have expanded flex meal options to Clinton Street Market, which is located in Burge Hall, and Grand Avenue Market, which is located in Hillcrest Hall, for you to use on the weekends. So I believe next up is my colleague Becky to talk about what kinds of things to pack to bring to campus.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Becky Wilson. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm one of the staff members within residence education, which is also part of university housing and dining. Part of my role is helping plan move-in for you all to come to campus. And while we're not going to be discussing specific move-in details today, we'll be doing those later in July. I wanted to share some information about what you can plan for now as you prepare for college. I don't want y'all to make the same mistake that I did back in the days of yore when I went to college, when I waited to the very last minute to pack. Many of the things I'm covering today will be on this specific website that I'm sharing now in the chat. So that would be a great thing for you to make note of to refer back to after this webinar. All right, first we're going to cover what is in your room. All of our rooms come with twin extra large beds that do have the capability to be lofted or put into a variety of bed configurations. Our staff will do those lofting and bed configurations for you. You do not need to bring your own loft kit. or plan to do that when you move in, we will, our staff will take care of that. You also have a dresser, a desk and a chair, window coverings, which as Virginia mentioned earlier, we do provide curtains in the room, recycling containers, as well as a trash container. We do have trash rooms on the floor, or at Mayflower, we have trash dumpsters in the parking lot and recycling containers in the parking lot to bring your items to. All of our residence halls have Wi-Fi, as well as cable and an Ethernet jack as well. So some things to think about and make sure that you bring with you to campus is, number one, very important, clothing. We recommend that you think about the time of year, and if you have the ability to go back home to switch out your wardrobe so you don't need to bring in every single piece of clothing that you own with you. What do you need for your academics, such as if you're a notebook person or if you're going to have a technology device that you bring with you, a computer, other pieces like that. So kind of think through of what you'll need to be having with you to be successful. We recommend bathroom supplies such as a shower caddy, a robe or towel, and shower shoes, as most of the restrooms will be in your hallway, and we'll discuss the different types of bathrooms later. Bedding, again, as we mentioned, all of our twin beds are extra long, and we'll also cover an opportunity for you all to purchase linens through our fundraising program with us. A question we get often is about cleaning of spaces. Our custodial staff is amazing, and they clean all of our common spaces 7 days a week. However, what they do not clean is your room, and so we recommend that you bring materials with you to be able to do that, to clean your room. We also recommend a first aid kit and a thermometer. Also laundry supplies, so you're able to do laundry. We'll also cover laundry later on in this presentation, as well as face coverings, because as Virginia mentioned, we will be requiring those in the common spaces in the residence halls. On the website that I shared with you all earlier has a very extensive list of what type of appliances we allow in the residence halls and what is not, but I'm going to highlight a couple. We recommend thinking about a microwave and a mini fridge. We recommend that you talk to your roommate before move-in to discuss who will be bringing what. You can also have a toaster. Something that I think is very important personally is a coffee maker, so make sure you bring that if that's important to you as well. We get questions often about if you can bring certain like cooking things such as a crock pot or rice cooker. Those are allowed. Same with having whatever you need to style your hair. And also electric wax melter. So you cannot have candles in the halls, but you can have something that like a Scentsy. And then we also recommend either bringing a vacuum or checking out which hall you've been assigned to see what type of flooring we have in the halls, because a Swiffer might do, as not all of our halls have carpet. I'm also going to cover some things that you're not allowed to bring to the residence halls. Our residence halls are substance free, which means you cannot have alcohol or alcohol containers, even if you're 21 years of age or older. We also do not allow drugs or drug paraphernalia. Once again, we do not allow candles or incense. We also don't allow things that are typical fire hazards, such as a toaster oven. Unless you live in Mayflower, which does have a kitchen, you can bring a toaster oven with you if you would like. Other appliances that we do not allow are the pizza pizzazz, grills like a George Foreman, a hot plate, or an air fryer. Halogen lamps are also a fire hazard, so we do not allow those. We also do not allow pets, unless you're very emotionally attached to a fish. Feel free to bring your fish with you. And then you can store tobacco and electronic cigarettes or vape pens in your room, but you cannot use them in your room. We also want to remind you to bring some important documents with you when you move to campus. This would include your insurance information, both health as well as renter's insurance, as Virginia covered earlier. Your photo identification, so a license or a state ID if you have them, or a passport, as well as some proof of employment eligibility documents in case you choose to get a job on campus, which we highly recommend. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have several fundraising programs that you can choose to participate in if you're interested. All of these links that are on the slide are also on that same link I put in the chat for you. The first is an option to rent a microchill. So a microchill is a microwave and refrigerator combo. There's different size options on that website you can choose from. This will be placed into your room before you arrive, and you're also able to split the cost with a roommate. So this is a great option. You would turn it in at the end of the school year, so you don't need to figure out where you're going to store it over the summer. We also have 2 options where you can purchase items, such as linen. So we partner with a company called On-Campus Marketing, or OCM, and they have lots of different options for you to decorate your residence hall room with, including full linen packages, which have comforters, pillows, and lots of different options. And then finally, we also have a Futon purchase program. This is another thing where you can split the cost with a roommate, and we'll have it placed in your room with you or for you before you arrive to campus. The difference between the Futon and the micro chill is that the micro chill you rent, so you return it at the end of the year, where the Futon, it is yours forever, so you will have to move that out at the end of the year. Okay, so I'm going to cover just a couple more things quickly before we jump into our FAQs, including what you can do now as you all wait for us to continue our updates regarding some of our campus updates and move-in. So the first I mentioned earlier is make sure that you touch base with your requested roommate to create a plan of how you're going to do room selection. Because as Virginia mentioned earlier, the roommate who submitted their deposit first will be the roommate that will get to choose the room first. So make sure that you all work out a plan of different halls you're interested in, different room types, your pricing that you're able to do, so that way you're able to make the best decision. Also, if you do not have a requested roommate, and once you are assigned a room and a roommate, make sure you reach out to them to talk about those items that we mentioned about what to bring with you. And then a friendly tip we always give during orientation is to make sure you learn how to do your laundry prior to arriving on campus. All of our residence halls have laundry. Most of them are on the ground floor or the basement of the residence halls, or in Mayflower, they're on the individual floors. And again, just check out that website that we provided in the chat. And so now we're going to jump into FAQs, and I believe Jill is up first.
Okay. So the first one we have, how do I decide which meal plan is the best for me? We get this one a lot. And so what I encourage you to do is to think about how you eat right now. Are you a grazer? Do you stop and have a little something to eat 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day? Or are you truly a 3 meal a day person? Maybe you're just a 2 meal a day person. Are you a breakfast eater right now? You are unlikely to eat breakfast with us if you are not used to eating breakfast now. If that's just not one of your go-to meals, I wouldn't expect you to develop that habit. So once you've kind of thought about how you normally eat, then the challenge is to figure out which one of the meal plans would make most sense for you based on that. So if you're a 3 meals per day person, or if you're a grazer, then I would definitely recommend you think about the gold meal plan. But if you really only eat a couple meals a day, then I think the black plan would be sufficient for your needs. When do I select that? You'll be asked to select your meal plan by mid-July. If you don't select your meal plan by that date, we are going to automatically assign you the gold meal plan. So I mentioned earlier that you have 75 flex swipes per semester. So what does that really mean? A flex swipe is available for you to use in our flex locations. We have 7 of those. And for that swipe, you will be able to select an entree, 2 sides, and a beverage. What you have to select from, particularly for the entree, kind of depends on where you're at. But that same basic formula exists for all flex meal locations. And in every flex meal location, there will be signs prominently displaying what you'll be able to select from here in this location for your flex meal. And a flex swipe then also allows you to enter and have 1 meal at either Burge, Catlett, or Hillcrest marketplaces. I don't think I mentioned this before. If you can use flex swipes in marketplaces. For the person who has a gold meal plan, you would never do that because you're going to have unlimited access to the marketplaces through your gold plan. But in the event, if you have a black meal plan and in the event you do run out of those marketplace swipes, you can then use your flex swipes in the marketplace. There is a limit to 5 flex meal swipes per day. A lot of times students will use them as they're trying to kind of stock up their refrigerator or bring snacks into their room, so they might want to eat later. If you're a late night person and at 1 o'clock in the morning you're studying and you want a little something to snack on, use of your flex meal swipes to kind of build up some of those items in your room is a great option for you. So set 5 flex meal swipes per day. Can you change your meal plan? You will be able to change your meal plan early August until September 4th. And so you've got 2 weeks after each semester starts to change your meal plan. So during that time, you really need to pay attention to how am I using my meal plan? How am I accessing different places? And making a change if what you have doesn't really meet your needs. Once we've passed that September 4th deadline, you will have that meal plan for the rest of the fall semester. You will have the opportunity after the end of fall semester to make a change in your meal plan for spring semester if you choose to. You may be a person that has a need of a dietary accommodation, and can we accommodate you? We support a variety of dietary accommodations, many food allergies, intolerances, and celiac disease. We have a registered dietitian on staff who's an expert in this. Laura Crotto is her name, and you can see her email address on the screen. I encourage you to contact her specifically and ask any questions that you might have about accommodation. We also will have in July 2 different sessions that you can sign up for specifically about dietary accommodation. So watch for those. If you're a person that's in need of that, watch for those and make sure you sign up. Some of you have heard about Burge Marketplace and the station that we have there. So some people think that that's the only place that you can go for a dietary accommodation. But we are able and willing and ready to accommodate all dietary needs regardless of where you are dining. Burge Marketplace does have a station called Thrive, and all of the menu items we serve on Thrive are absent the top 8 allergens and gluten for those that you that have celiac disease. So we have that specialized station there for you to take advantage of, but you can meet your dietary needs any place in any of our locations. The other thing is Burge is specifically nut-free, so we don't serve anything in Burge that contains any nuts. That can be confusing for people who suddenly want almond milk in Burge Marketplace. You won't find it because that's from a nut. You will find almond milk in our other marketplaces, but we will be able to accommodate your needs regardless of what marketplace or retail location you're at. And then, like I mentioned, connect with Laura Crotto, our registered dietitian, for more information.
Thanks so much, Jill. So I'd like to address some of the questions that you all have been asking related to room selection and the housing contract. I know that we've gotten a few questions about if our housing rates will be adjusted. At this time, and again, this is today, June 18th, we anticipate that the residence halls will be open even after the Thanksgiving holiday. And I know that there is some rate-related discussions that are currently underway, but at this time, because we will be open, we are not anticipating refunding any student information, any student costs related to housing and dining. We will be sending more information about that to you all shortly, and most certainly we will send it to you all before it is time for you to pick a room. We want to make sure that you all can make the most thoughtful decision related to your family's finances with all of this in mind. So thank you for those questions. And again, thank you for your patience as we continue to respond to this evolving situation. So a couple of the other questions that we often receive are, can I get a room in a specific residence hall? And that's a big maybe. It all depends on when you applied for housing, when your roommate, if you are having one, applied for housing, because the first one of you two will pick the room on behalf of the payer. If you plan to join a living learning community, and then most importantly though, the number of returning students that selected rooms in February. And the reason I want to bring that up is because this year we've had more than 1,300 Hawkeyes decide that they wanted to make the residence halls their home for their second, third, or fourth year on campus. And since they get to pick rooms first, that will obviously influence the rooms that are available for new and incoming students to select from. So then you might be wondering, well, what buildings do first-year students live in? So outside of a living learning community, the most common locations for new students are Reno, Slater, Hillcrest, Mayflower, Courier, Burge, and Dom. Now, Dom Hall is reserved for our honors students only. And I share these with you just to provide some good perspective when you're going into online room selection. Returning students have selected the majority of the rooms in Catlett, Peterson, and Stanley halls that may be available. Okay, not saying that you wouldn't get one, but I think it's important to be as realistic as possible. So if you are an honors student, are you guaranteed a room in Dom Hall? No, you are not. Honors students live throughout all of our 10 residence halls, and Dom is available on a first come, first served basis. Only approximately 300 students are able to select a room in Dom Hall, and we usually have around 700 honors students joining us on campus. So if you are not able to select a room in Dom, you are not alone. Remember, about half of your fellow honors folks are not living there. But you can still participate in all of the honors programming through the Bellin Center. So I think that that's helpful for you all to be aware of. Now, how do I live in a single or a triple room? As we have communicated with students, most students will live in a double room. Availability of single rooms is quite limited, again, related to the returning students picking the single rooms first. Triple rooms have been removed from new student housing, in the spirit of social distancing related to COVID. There are a handful of triple rooms that are still available throughout campus because they are larger, but most of those have been selected by returners. So that's why we are telling you that a single or a triple might not be in your future. We encourage you to plan to live in a double room and then approach a single or a triple as a bonus if you happen to be a lucky Hawkeye who can find one. Okay. So can you still request a roommate? Yes, you can. You and your preferred roommate are able to live together in Mayflower Hall. Both students should email housing@uiowa.edu with your full name, your university ID numbers, and your request to live together. Our staff will wind up making your assignment for you. And I'm going to let my colleague Becky answer some more questions.
All right, hello everyone. So we've seen some questions come through about living learning communities, so I'm going to answer those quickly. So a living learning community is a specific floor within a residence hall. So it's not an entirely different residence hall. So for example, in our Stanley residence hall, the Iowa Writers Living Learning Community would be housed on one of the floors there. And so that is something that you would have applied for in May, and then you can be added to a wait list at this point too if you would like to choose a room within an LLC. And so that's some of the information that is listed here on the slide, is that we definitely encourage you to join a wait list by emailing our housing@uiowa.edu email address. Please tell us your name and your university ID number and which LLC you're interested in, and then we can offer spaces to you as they become available. Okay, so we often get many questions about our bathrooms within the residence hall, so we're going to explain some of our language that we use when talking about bathrooms and restrooms. So the first one is our community style restrooms. And so these are on our floors that we have our assigned a single gender. And so within the community style restrooms, there'll be a row of sinks, a row of toilets with their each stall, like you see in most public restrooms, as well as a row of showers that have curtains or doors. And those are available in Burge, Courier, Hillcrest, and Reno. Then we have something that we call single user or pod style, which this is like the bathroom in your home, where it has a sink, a toilet, and a shower, and when you close the door, it's just you in there. So again, it's only one person at a time, hence our term of single user. And then those are available in Catlett, Dom, Peterson, Slater, and Stanley. So those are on floors that we have open to any gender. And then finally, we have what we call our suite style, which will be Mayflower Hall and then a few select rooms in Burge Hall, which these are shared between 2 and 4 people. Typically, this is what joins the 2 rooms together. In Mayflower, the 2 rooms are joined together by the restroom as well as the kitchen. And then in these restrooms, we have 2 sinks, so a sink per room, and then 1 shower and 1 toilet. All right, another popular question is how much is laundry? So again, with your contract within University Housing and Dining, you receive 100 Hawk dollars per semester. And so one way that you should use those is to do your laundry. It's $1.50 to wash and $1 to dry for each load. And you can always purchase more Hawkeye dollars or add them to your card in select buildings on campus. Okay, so some other questions that we get is what is the gender breakdown of our residence halls? So all of our residence halls are open to any gender. And then we do have some floors or wings within buildings that are single gender floors, which again would be Burge, Courier, Hillcrest, and Reno. And then we do have some buildings that have mixed gendered floors, which is Catlett, Dom, Mayflower, Peterson, Stanley, and Slater. All right, so lots of questions coming in about move-in as well. So we are planning for you all to live in the halls, we're also planning a move-in that will recognize socially distancing guidelines. And so some of those pieces are going to be coming out in July. You'll be getting lots of emails, so we encourage you to check your UIowa email often. We also will have webinars through orientation about move-in as well. So we are looking at the week of August 17th is our main move-in week. So some of you might be familiar with past move-ins at the University of Iowa, where all of our first-year students move in over 3 days. We do have plans to extend that, as well as extend the hours of move-in each day. We will have limited amount of people based on the building size and elevators and lobbies for move-in. So you will have an assigned date and time that'll be shared with you, but you will have the option to change those. We also have early move-in options available. We're still coordinating with our campus partners to make sure that we get everyone here when they need to for whatever programs they're participating in. And then once again, we will continue to share more details as we can. And then some other questions that we receive is how many mini fridges can we have in the room? And so we allow 1 mini fridge and 1 microwave, or one of those micro chill units, which is a combo of a microwave and a mini fridge. 1 for every 2 people. If you live in Mayflower, where we provide your refrigerator and your kitchen, you cannot have an additional mini fridge in your room. However, we do grant exceptions for students with a medical need. And so please make sure to contact housing@uiowa.edu about the ADA accommodations process. And once again, please include your name and your university ID number.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Becky. And for all of you for submitting some great questions to us today. The chat I can see has been very busy, pardon me, the Q&A function. If you have more, feel free to continue to allow them. And I know that Jill was going to talk with us about a couple of them live so everyone could hear the answer as well as see it.
So there's a question regarding the limitation on visitor limitation with students, and if that applies to the dining halls as well. And no, the answer to that is no. Not only are we in dining complying with the guidelines that the university has come up with, are also complying with guidelines from the Iowa Department of Public Health. These are the people in Iowa that take care of food licenses and inspections and things like that for us. So we comply with them as well. So I can tell you that no more than 6 people can be at any one table. The tables have to be at least 6 feet apart. So we are rearranging our dining room so that all tables are at least 6 feet apart. You can have up to 6 people at that table. So that would be the limit to the number of people that are allowed to come in as a visitor with a student. And another question, I don't have a smartphone, what should I do with the Grubhub app? That's a really good question. And so I am pretty certain that you can also access the Grubhub app through your laptop or your tablet, but that's something that I want to verify. So we will investigate that, verify that with the company, and then we will have that information available when we're able to submit more information for y'all for how you get that app and so forth, what all of the rules around that will be. I think those are the only 2 I have on my list.
Sure, I can answer a couple more. So we've seen a few of you asking questions related to roommates picking rooms on behalf of a pair, and then what do you do next? So roommate A, whoever has the earliest room selection time slot, that's who we recommend selects on behalf of your pair. Then you would have more options available for you. So if that is roommate A and you happen to be roommate B with the second time slot, when that is your time, what you'll do is you'll log in and you'll be able to, yes, see the room that was selected for you. You will be asked to go through information about renter's insurance and also about to select your meal plan. So you would do everything except pick a room. Now, if you and your roommate decide that the original room that was selected did not work quite well for the two of you, you could investigate other room options. But again, please proceed with caution before changing your rooms. And that's because if you change your room, the system is live. It's just like picking a seat on an airline or picking concert tickets. There is no guarantee that that original space will still be available. So we hope that that helps answer some of those questions about what roommate 1 does versus what roommate 2 does. Both of you should log in. That's the one thing that we want you all to do. I can also see that we've gotten a few more questions related to housing rates. And again, I want to confirm with you all, our housing rates are up on our website at this time, housing.uiowa.edu. Those rates are for the full semester because we will be open for the full semester. If for some reason things take a turn and we have to close, then we would provide more information for you about that closure and about the impacts that that would have on your rates at that time.
I'm going to jump in quickly to share some information that I did not share during the move-in slide. You will get your move-in time slot and date with your final contract letter. And in that letter, we'll also include the link to change your time or let us know if you're going to take advantage of one of our early move-in options. Also, currently, we are looking at how we can support you all in doing your requests for your bed changes to help with minimum contact between you and staff to help with our staff safety as well. So more information will be coming forward about that during our move-in information, and so make sure to keep an eye out for those updates.
Yeah, one quick related tip to that is most of our lofts, as Becky had mentioned, our beds come lofted. However, our facilities team has been able to put together an option called a high captain. And that is great because it means that your bed is at the highest place that it is, but that your dresser can slide immediately under your bed. And so that offers maximum storage for your space, but you wouldn't necessarily have to climb up into a loft. That's a new option that they debuted last year, and we found that many students really liked it. Again, more information about our loft configurations can be found on our move-in what to bring pages. So that way you can explore it, and we will have information in the housing application portal related to how you might request to have your bed delofted at a future date and time.
Part of move-in is also coordinating with all of our campus partners that have early arrival programs. And so some of you might be interested in programs such as Honors Primetime or Iowa Edge. I'm sure that those campus partners will be sharing information with you soon too. Those are all things that we're in the planning stages to make sure that move-in honors those requirements while also meeting our social distance guidelines and other campus guidelines as well. So I would recommend that you continue to keep updates, keep an eye out for those updates as well.
We know that you all are going to continue to have a few more questions for us this afternoon, and we are so happy to take the time to answer them. As we progress through, I do want to share a couple of tips to remember. And we have mentioned this a few times. As you are aware, rooms are selected on a first-come, first-served basis. There are over 1,300 returning students who have already selected their rooms. And so students will be impacted by those who submitted applications before them, just as much as you will impact someone who submits an application after you. We encourage flexibility and openness to multiple options because we think and we know that all of our halls are fantastic. Many of them have been around for a number of years and have some great histories to them. Most importantly, our senior director, Dr. Von Stange, is not able to join us today, but he would be the very first to remind you that it's not the name on the outside of the building, but the names of the people on the inside that will create your memories. And so no matter which hall you wind up living in, you are bound to have a fantastic first year here on campus. We have several upcoming presentations for you to make note of. Number one is preparing to live on campus. We will be offering those throughout the month of July. We will be offering some special programs about meal plans and dietary needs on July 2nd and July 8th. Make sure you check the orientation website as those times might be updating shortly. And then what to expect for move-in. A number of you have asked questions about how a socially distant move-in will work, and we want to roll out all those details to you a little bit closer to that time, because we know your mind will be there once you get your room all selected in July. So we'll have that information out for you later. We have time for you all to submit a few more questions, but as always, one thing to remember is that you can contact us via email, either housing@uiowa.edu or dining@uiowa.edu. Our phones are open and our students are here answering them for you, again, at a very socially distant manner, and 319-335-3000. If you can't get through directly, don't hesitate to leave us a voicemail and we'll give you a ring back as quick as we can. We will post all of our information on the housing and dining websites for you to review, along with this presentation. We will have this posted on the orientation website after we're able to get it all transcribed for our folks that rely on closed captioning. So we will continue to answer questions via chat, and just remember that we cannot wait to see you this fall. We hope that you all stay healthy, and we will see you in August.
All right, I'll jump back in here. Thank you for all the great information, ladies. We will hang around for a few more moments, and like you said, keep those questions coming in the Q&A if you have them. Otherwise, check out the chat at the bottom of the screen. There were a few links that were put in there throughout the session that may be helpful for you to bookmark. So thanks again for joining us, and have a great rest of your afternoon.